Discord can be a little intimidating with all of the options, and if you're in a very large server, they'll have tons of channels of different types all over the place. My name is Dimitri of the Kata Gaming Channel, and I'm going to help you guys get through the basics of Discord. Today we're going to be breaking it down into two separate parts. First part is going to be on mobile, and the second part is going to be on desktop. We're going to be breaking it down into a bunch of different sections, from your settings, the account and user settings, an introduction to, being in a server and how to enter and leave voice chats, and the difference between a voice chat and a text chat. And then at the end, we're going to top it all off with a few tips and some information on what things like Discord Nitro, server boosting, and some additional things that I think you should do when setting up your Discord. So the first thing when setting up your Discord on your phone is you're going to want to go and tap the top left 3-button hamburger there, and you're going to want to go down to the bottom right to pull up your settings. Now, these settings are pretty nice and condensed. There really isn't too much here on mobile compared to on the desktop, so it's nice and easy. You can go to your account. You can enable 2FA, which is an extremely important security feature. If you very rarely use Discord and you don't really have anything important on it or linked to it, then you don't really need 2FA. But if you run a server that you have a bunch of people in, or you have paid for Discord Nitro, or you just worry about your security, putting on 2FA is a very good thing to have. Two-factor authentication is very important, and it's a great way to help keep your accounts secure. Now in here, you can go ahead and change your picture by selecting your picture there. You'll see the little picture icon. You can also edit your username, and if you have Nitro, you can edit your hashtag number. You can also change your email here if you'd like, and change your password as well. Now on Discord, you can also set your status to online, idle, do not disturb, invisible, or a custom status. So safe direct messaging is really great because it helps scan incoming messages. So if you trust all your friends, which you should, if you've added someone as a friend on Discord, it'll scan everybody else's messages to make sure that there's no explicit content, so you're not getting spammed with pictures of a certain nature, for example. You can remove the ability for people to direct message you from your server. The only way for someone to direct message you would be to be your friend, so that one's really nice. You can change who can add you as friends if you want to limit that as well. So if you only use Discord for a very specific community and that's it, you don't use it for anything else, you can basically turn off all of these options for who can add you as a friend. And then the only way that you can add friends is by you adding them first. Now, Discord is really good at making sure that they don't give your data away to anybody else. So I don't mind having them use my data to improve the program itself. I have it turned off to track my screen reader usage, however, but everything else I don't really mind. They've done a really good job, and I haven't had any issues security-wise with Discord giving out my information. No data breaches or anything of the sort, so that's pretty great. Now, connections are nice. You can connect with a whole suite of different programs. You can connect with things like all the game platforms like Battle.net and Steam. You can connect it with your Spotify, so that while you're playing music on Spotify, it'll show it as your status on Discord, which is really cool. You can connect it with Reddit. You can connect it with Twitter and Twitch and YouTube. And the nice thing about those is that if you ever wanted to share your Twitter, for example, with someone else that's in a Discord server with you. If someone's like, oh, hey, what's your Twitter? You can just tell them to go to your profile and just click the button. It'll open up the link. It's a nice to have. Now, billing is only important if you have Discord Nitro, which we'll go over later. Scanning the QR code is a feature that you can easily log in at a new location, say on a browser, by scanning the QR code on the login page, and it'll log you in for you. Be sure, however, to only scan QR codes that are on Discord's official website and an official login. Do not scan random QR codes because websites can steal your login information that way, and you definitely don't want that. So make sure you only scan the QR code that is directly from Discord. Nitro, we will go over in a bit, but if you wanted to add Nitro, this is the section to do so. Now, voice and video settings are extremely important. You can change the input mode to being voice activity or push to talk. If you have push to talk, you have to actually push on your screen to talk, and if you're not pushing on it, it won't pick up any background noise. So if you're in a very noisy place, push to talk is very nice to have, especially for everybody else listening to you. But it is a little bit more work, so if you're not in a very noisy place, I would definitely suggest using voice activity. The sensitivity will change based on your voice, or you can set the sensitivity specifically. You want it so that it's picking up your voice and it's going into the green when you're talking, but when you're not talking, it's not going into the green. That's the important part. You can also change the volume. You can enable overlay, which will show everybody who's talking as like an overlay over top of all your other apps. You can use noise suppression on your microphone, and the echo cancellation, the noise reduction, all those settings, when you add them, it kind of tins out your voice and it makes it sound a little hollow. So if you don't need them, I would suggest you turn them off. Echo cancellation and noise reduction isn't as bad, but the noise suppression definitely changes the tone of your voice quite a bit. So if you don't need it, if people aren't complaining that your microphone's really noisy, definitely suggest turn that off. I wouldn't really suggest using hardware scaling. You don't really need to use it unless you feel like your video calls aren't the quality that you need them to be. I have never needed to turn it on, and when you turn it on, it takes a lot more power for your phone, so it's going to take a lot more processing power to do so, which will make everything a little bit slower. So I would suggest keeping it off unless you really need it. And then I usually leave this last setting here for the low latency acceleration on let my operating system decide. Now, notifications. So I have notifications on. A lot of people who only use Discord for one community, for example, will keep it off, and they'll only check messages once they open the app. They don't want to be notified of all the messages, especially if you're in a very busy server where there's hundreds of messages every minute of people talking in all these different channels. If the server hasn't turned off push all notifications, then you're going to get tons. You can also go and change your notifications based on the operating system that you're on. If you're on Android, if you're on iPhone, you can change all those by clicking that button. But I don't leave these on, and I use the server notification system to determine which ones I want to use and which ones I don't. Now, game activity isn't really important on mobile, and I have it turned off on the desktop as well. If you don't want people to know what games you're playing, I would suggest turning it off. And if you like having your status shown instead of the game that you're playing, I would suggest having this off. So if you are always on data or you have a very limited internet connection, you can make it so that it doesn't automatically load any images or emojis or GIFs. But if you don't really worry about that, or you're not really worried about the content in the servers that you're in, you could also turn these off if you're worried about the kind of content that people are posting. But if you're not worried about that, I would just suggest leaving all these on and making sure everything's in sync. Now, the appearance, if you use light mode, you're a monster. So definitely keep it on dark mode. And you can change the font scaling. So, if you're an old person, turn it up all the way, but I like to keep mine right around 100. And yeah, you can also just reset it. I didn't have to do that way. Now behavior, there's not really much here that you would normally change. You can change the way that you send a message. I like having it so that I don't send messages unless I press the actual send message button on Discord instead of on my keyboard. I like being able to like do line breaks and stuff, but if you want to change it around, you can do that here. And I use developer mode, but you don't really need to use that if you're not going to be like a power user. Language, obviously to change language, and then the rest of these options here are to just provide you information. Now, once you're in a server, you're going to notice that there are 2 or 3 main types of channels. So there is a channel with a speaker next to it, and that is a voice channel. There are channels with a hashtag, those are text channels. And then in certain servers, you will see a channel with a little horn symbol. Those are the announcement channels. Announcement channels you can use to follow, and they will cross-post the things posted in there to other servers. So if you have your own personal server and you have Xavier Omar's server here, for example, you can make it so that anything that he posts in his announcement server will be posted also into your server, so that people in your server who may not be a part of his can also get information on the updates that are there. Now, to join a voice channel, you tap the channel and you join voice. Now, once you're in a voice chat, if you click away, you'll see that the top is green and it is flashing. On iPhone, it will look like a red. It'll still be, if you're on the app, it'll still be green. If we go to my home here, you'll see the little icon in the top left for Discord. And if I pull down, you will see that I am in Discord. I can tap and return to the call. You will see me in here, and you can see anybody else that's in the call as well. Now to leave, you would just tap the green bar at the top and you press the little red phone with the X on the bottom. If you want to mute, you would click the microphone. If you want to deafen, which mutes and also turns off all incoming audio so that you don't hear anybody else, you press the headphone. And if you want to turn on video, you can click the video. You can also change the output, so you can make it so that it comes off of a Bluetooth speaker. If you have your earbuds attached, like AirPods or other kind of Bluetooth, it'll be there as well. You can change all of that. And to leave, you just press the red phone. If you go into a text chat, it'll just look like this. If the owner of the server doesn't allow you to post in that channel, you'll see you do not have permission to send messages. But if we go to something like the general, you'll see that we're able to post. You have access to the emojis, and depending on the server, certain servers will have their own emojis. If you have Discord Nitro, you'll be able to use emojis from another server in any server that you want. You also have access to GIFs here, and that's built into Discord, so you don't need to do it through your keyboard. And you can also take a picture and go through the pictures on your phone. Now, one last thing is, in a server, you can manage your notifications. So managing your notifications is a really good way to reduce the amount of notifications you get, especially if you have Discord on your phone. You can make it so that it only gives you a notification if you are specifically mentioned. So if you don't have this on, if you have it on all messages, every single message that comes through the server, no matter what, it's going to ping you. If you have it on only at mentions, it'll only ping you if someone does an @everyone, if you're online, an @here, and at your actual specific username. Now you can turn off @everyone and @here pinging you as a notification by turning this setting on, and you can suppress all role mentions, so you'll only get notified if someone does an @your username by doing this. Now, to give you an example of what roles look like, in my server, a lot of people have roles, and roles allow you to a certain group. It allows you to give them specific permissions within a server. You can have mods, you can have very specific things. So all of that is done through the roles, and now I can add that. If someone adds the Canada role, for example, it'll ping me. So that's what the at all mentioned roles setting was for. So another important thing to look at is boosting. You can boost a server from here. If you want to know what boosting is, however, I will include that later on in the video. I will include timestamps in the description below, so you can go ahead and jump to that whenever you'd like. One final thing to keep in mind is that you can go ahead and group up servers by clicking on it with your finger and dragging it over another one and creating a folder. And that way you can keep things organized. I have a lot of servers, for example, so this allows me to kind of reduce the amount of mess on the left side of my screen. And if you want to remove it, you just go ahead and drag it out and do that, and you do it with the same one, and the folder disappears. So with Discord on the desktop, you can either use it in your browser or you can download the actual program. With the browser version, you can open up multiple tabs with different Discords in them if you'd like. You can inspect elements and grab URL codes for colors and stuff. But on the app version, you get a lot more connections with what's actually going on. You get streamer mode. You get better notifications. You can minimize it to your system tray. You get a whole bunch of options like being able to live view images and a whole bunch of others. I would prefer using the program, but if you're on somebody else's computer, for example, you can easily do it on the browser. Now we'll just quickly go through settings. So to access the settings, you go down here, right to this bottom little bar, and you click user settings. So here it'll give you your account information. You can edit your name, your tag if you have Discord Nitro, your email, and if you want to do all that, you have to put in your current password. You can also change your image. You can also enable or disable two-factor authentication here, which is extremely important if you want to protect your account. But not everybody needs it, and I would only suggest really adding two-factor authentication if you have something like Nitro or if you manage a bunch of servers. But if you only use it for one little small thing, you don't entirely necessarily need it. But two-factor authentication is always a really good way to protect your accounts, whether it's Discord, your PayPal, or what have you. Two-factor authentication, if it's available, I always suggest using it. Privacy and safety, you can go ahead and choose if you want Discord to automatically scan images that are sent to you in direct messages. People can randomly message you and send you inappropriate photos, for example, or gore. So you can choose to scan pictures. If they're not your friend, don't scan pictures at all, or scan pictures from everybody. If you're deciding to share inappropriate images with someone and they're a friend, you need to have this option here, because if you don't, it'll just constantly remove their photos if you have the keep me safe option on. So you would need to have it here. And yeah, don't ask me why I have that option on. Here you can also choose if you want to allow direct messages from other people in servers. If not, you can initiate the direct message, but they cannot. You can also choose who can add you as a friend. If you have all of these unchecked, again, only you can initiate the friend process. And I don't mind Discord using my data because they've been very good about it. They do not sell data to other companies. That's why they have things like Discord Nitro and Discord Nitro Classic to help support the program so they don't have to go and sell data, which a lot of these other free programs do. So I don't mind having these two on, but I do not want them to track my screen reader usage, so I turn that one off. Authorized apps would just be a bunch of apps that have access to your Discord. So I have a bunch of bots. That's what most of these are. Patreon, more bots, Faceit, Xbox Live, a whole bunch of things like that. So this is just where you'll see all these authorized apps. I suggest you check in here every once in a while, see if there's anything that you don't recognize. Because if there's anything you don't recognize, you can deauthorize them, and they won't be able to access your information from Discord. Connections are also very nice. You can do all of the typical gaming platforms. For example, you can do your Spotify, and as you can see here, you can display what you're playing as your music as your status, which is really nice. You can choose whether or not you want these to be displayed on your profile, so that if someone goes and clicks on your profile and they can go ahead and see all of your accounts. So it's a really easy way to share your Twitter, for example, or your Twitch or your YouTube and what have you. Really nice to have that there, and I share all this kind of stuff openly anyways, so I really don't mind it being there. The other thing is, if you have Twitch and you're subscribed to Twitch channels, it'll give you the option here to join their servers if they have linked their server to Discord. I get gifted a lot of random subs because I lurk a lot. So these are just like random Twitch accounts that I've been gifted subs to. But any of the ones that you're gifted subs to or that you're subscribed to at the time will appear here if they have sub-enabled servers on. The nice thing about doing that is that if that server has a specific channel or a specific role for subscribers, that'll now be enabled and activated so that you will get that specific role or permission and what have you. Discord Nitro, we'll go over that later, and I'll go over the difference between free Discord Nitro Classic and Discord Nitro. If you've been gifted any kind of Nitro, it'll be given here. You can gift Nitro to other people. You can redeem codes, for example, with Xbox right now. They're doing a promotion. If you have the Game Pass, you get 3 months of Nitro for free. So you can go ahead and redeem that code here. It'll give you 3 months of Nitro. Here we'll show you any of the servers that you're in that you've boosted or that have boosts on them right now. Boosts do a lot of things, and again, we'll go over that later. Hype Squad is something that's, you know, it doesn't really do anything. It just gives you a badge. There's no really important things. The newsletters that you get in the past couple of years, there hasn't really been anything interesting. So you can choose to do the Hype Squad. You do a little test and it tells you which of the 3 houses you'd be in. You can do it for fun if you'd like, and it gives you a little badge. Now for the voice and video, very important. You can choose your input and output device. I normally suggest you don't have it on default and you actually choose the specific audio devices that you use unless you change them a lot. Reason for that is Windows really likes to change your default audio device, and if that happens, then you might be speaking into the wrong microphone, like your Logitech webcam, for example, or your audio will be coming out on your speakers instead of your headphones, so on and so forth. So I suggest you actually choose the specific device for both your input and your output. You can do a mic test here, which will play back your voice delayed to you so that you can hear what it sounds like and you can hear if it's loud enough and so on. Input mode, I normally keep it on voice activity, but people that are in noisy spaces like have it on push to talk. People who are used to push to talk, put it on push to talk. It's entirely up to you. You can use either. For video settings, you can choose whichever webcam you want. And now, noise suppression, if you have this turned on, it will make your voice sound very tinny. So unless you're in a very noisy room, I would definitely suggest keeping this off. Turning it on makes your voice really hollow, and it just really doesn't sound that great. Keep that off if you can. If you want to, you can turn on echo cancellation and noise reduction. I normally do have these on, but I don't normally use Discord on my gaming computer. I usually use it on my streaming computer, so that's why these ones are off, but I'll just turn them on right now. Most of these you don't really have to change. I would suggest you make sure that this is all the way off. If you have this on, it'll lower the volume of other programs while people are talking or while you're talking, and it can really mess up when you're playing games. So I really suggest you have this all the way off and you turn both of these off as well, and leave the audio subsystem on standard. Now the overlay can be nice when you're playing specific games. If you want to know who's talking at the time, you can turn that on. You can set it up a hotkey for it as well, so that you can turn it on and off at will, which is what I do. I have these settings here where it's small, only when speaking, and in the top left hand corner. I normally don't use it, but in games like Among Us, when I'm streaming, it's really nice for my stream to be able to know who's talking. Notifications are good. You can do a little bit of notification modification here, and then you can do more of it on the server side. So you can go ahead and choose to turn off desktop notifications if you don't want those. You can turn off the badge that will show up beside a server name or a DM that'll tell you how many messages you've missed. And you can turn off it flashing in the bottom taskbar here if you have it minimized or if you're on like your browser instead. Now the push notification inactive timeout is basically how long you're inactive on the desktop until it starts pushing notifications to your phone if you have it installed on your phone. I wish that you would be able to have a 0 minute so that it's just always pushing to your phone, because while I'm streaming, I'm not really paying attention to my Discord a lot of the time. People message me and I don't notice them. So I have it on 1 minute. So 1 minute of me being inactive on my computer will then make it so that any notifications also get pushed to my phone. I would highly suggest you keep text-to-speech notifications off unless you need it. For example, if you have a disability, this is really nice to have, but most people will be keeping it on never. And the only sound I have off is message. Everything else I have on. Now, keybinds. Keybinds are a really nice way for you to customize your Discord experience. So if you want to be able to toggle mute and deafen and overlay, you can add any kind of bind you want. You just do an add a keybind. You choose the action that you want, and then you set the keybind and you stop it. Pretty easy. These are the ones that I use normally. I don't really use any others that often. So game activity, I actually just have game activity turned off. I don't like it showing what games I'm playing because it overrides my status. So if I'm streaming, I'd prefer it show me streaming and not the game that I'm playing. And if I'm playing music, I'd prefer it's showing the music and not the game I'm playing. If people want to see what game I'm playing, they'll see me on the Steam's friends list or Battle.net or what have you. So I just keep this one turned off. If you have really crappy internet, you can turn some of these off if you don't want images to automatically load. Or if you're not particularly trusting of certain servers that you're in, and you don't trust some of the images that are there and you don't want them to load without you being kind of aware of what the image is, you can turn some of these off, but I just keep them all on. And you can change the way that spoiler content is shown to you as well. Now appearance, anybody that uses light mode again is a monster. Keep it on dark mode. Be a regular human being. I keep it on cozy, but if you do compact, it just basically gets rid of the images. You can change all the font scaling and the spacing and the zoom level and all that kind of stuff. I have it so that everything is just synced and I don't have reduced motion or anything on there. And I have developer mode because I like checking on new settings and so on. Streamer mode is nice. Streamer mode will automatically launch if you have OBS and you have this option on. I have turned it off specifically because I do a lot of recording on OBS while I'm doing Discord stuff, so I kind of have this one off. But you can choose what streamer mode does. and it'll hide a lot of the personal information. It'll hide links. It'll disable certain sounds. It'll do a lot of nice to have things that maybe you don't want to be bothering you while you're streaming, for example, the sounds and notifications, but also protect information like personal information like your emails and invite links. Language, pretty straightforward. Windows settings, you can choose if you want it to start on startup. I have it start minimized, and it minimizes to the tray instead of closing when I click the X. Now in a server, you will normally see 3 different types of channels. You'll see the hashtag ones, which are text channels. You'll see the horn, which is an announcement channel. And then you'll see these little speaker ones, which are voice channels. If you see a little lock there, that means it is locked to certain roles. If you don't see any lock, it is open to everybody. Now to go into a text channel, you just click it and everything will load. To get into a voice channel, again, you click it and you will enter the voice channel. To leave, you would click this little phone down here. And if the channel has, categories, you can minimize all of them. You can right click and collapse categories. You can do a whole bunch of stuff. And you can also go ahead and edit your notifications for certain channels, or you can do it on server basis by right clicking up here and going to server notification settings. You can change it if you want to be notified of all the messages, only when you're mentioned. Everyone will always message everybody in the server. At here will only mention people that are online. It'll only ping people that are online. This at all role mentions. So in my server, everybody's got roles. So you can actually add this PUBG role, for example. And anybody that has that role will be notified once I send that message. And you can turn off or enable push notifications. And you can have, certain channels overridden, for example. So I've muted my own live stream because I know when I'm live streaming, and I've also muted the XP. From this menu, you can also go ahead and check other server settings. If you are the server owner, you get a whole bunch of access to other things. If you're not the owner, you can still change your own nickname if they allow it. You can choose your privacy settings, and you can invite people to the server. You can also mark all of the things as read. So if you see here, I have a little white marker that says I haven't read everything. I can right click, mark as read, and it'll get rid of it for me. So now we go to the topic of Discord Nitro. So Nitro is a way for you to support Discord and get a few extra benefits if you'd like. If you don't use Nitro, it's not a problem. Discord is free to use. Now, one thing that Nitro Classic allows you to do is upload GIF avatars. So if you mess over someone who has it, you'll see that their avatar will move. And once you click on it, it'll show you their GIF moving as well. Another thing it'll let you do is change your actual tag. So if you can see here, I am Kadak6969. Nice. And you can change it to whatever you'd like. If you have certain numbers that are associated to you, if you want to make it easy and be 0000, as long as you have a unique one that matches with your username, so that no one with your username has the same numbers as you, then you're totally fine. You can use emotes from any server in any server that you're in. So if you can see here, I have all the emotes and emojis from all the other servers, and I can go ahead and use them. So I can go into, let's say, Epos Voxes and spam Vox Sad if I want to. It's really nice. You can join certain Discords that are made specifically just to have tons of emotes, and then you can use those emotes elsewhere. You can set up your own like dummy servers just for emotes if you'd like. You get a lot of abilities to use emotes if you use them a lot. And the nice thing is you can use them as reactions as well. Normally Discord Nitro also gives you higher quality video, but right now Discord is giving this to everybody to help with the whole learning from home situation. So that's not as big of a deal right now. And it'll also allow you to increase your upload size from 8 megabytes to 50 megabytes, which is really nice if you upload a lot of photos that are really large in size, or video clips and so on. Having that increased upload limit is really nice. And if you're in certain groups, having that increased upload limit is definitely a benefit. Like in my D&D group, we post video clips and stuff all the time. So having that increased limit is really nice to have. And as a little bonus, you'll also get a little badge on your profile that says you are a Nitro Classic subscriber. Now, if you have the full Nitro, you get all of the stuff in Classic, but you also get a then further increased upload limit of 100 megabytes, which is very nice to have. Again, if you mod a server, for example, and you're posting a lot of big video clips, it's a good way to do so. I don't think a lot of people would be using the 100 megabyte limit because they'd usually be sharing video clips from things like YouTube or other hosting services. But if you do find like you are running into a limit where you're sharing large files and they're above 50 megabytes, this might be a really helpful option for you if you're doing it often. Again, I don't think that this is applicable right now, but you also get high-res streaming, so you can do 1080p 60. I think that this is still being given to everybody for free because of the human malware situation that's going on. But normally you do get this as an extra bonus. And you get 2 free server boosts that you can use and you can share with other servers or your own server every single month. So that perfectly leads into server boosts. What are they and what do they do? So server boosts are a way for you to support certain servers, and when servers hit certain levels, they get added benefits. So a server will hit level 1 with 2 server boosts. At level 1, they get extra emoji slots. They get a higher audio quality available to them. The go live streams in the server are allowed to be done at a higher quality, although again, with the human malware situation, I think all servers are getting this for free. You get a custom server invite background, and you can get an animated server icon, kind of like the Discord Nitro animated avatar. At level 2, you get everything at level 1. Then you also get an additional 50 emoji slots. You get an even higher audio quality at 256 kilobytes per second. You get the go live streams at 1080p, which again, I think is being pushed for free to everybody. You get a server banner, which is really nice to have. And everybody in the server can upload up to 50 megabytes at a time. So they don't need to have Nitro Classic to be able to upload at 50 megabytes. Everybody in the server would get it. Just a reminder though, that is only within that server. If someone in the server tries to do it elsewhere, they will be limited to their 8 megabyte if they do not have Discord Nitro Classic. And then at level 3, which is 30 boosts, you get everything in 1 and 2. You get an additional 100 emoji slots. You get 384 kilobyte per second audio quality. Everybody in the server gets a 100 megabyte upload limit as long as it's in the server only. And you can choose your own custom URL for the invite links. So instead of getting a random one, you would be discord.gg/whatever you want it to be as your invite link. As well, when you go ahead and boost the server, you get a badge on your profile that shows that you are boosting. So it's another nice thing to have and kind of show off. And that's it. I know it's a pretty long video, but I hope it broke it up into things that you were interested in. If you were interested in the mobile, interested in the desktop, it's all great. And if you guys appreciate the content, please consider liking and subscribing. It really helps me out. I stream on Twitch every week from Friday until Tuesday. Come check me out. Come say hello in the chat. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them there. Or you can ask some questions in the comments below and I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. And if you're subscribed and have that bell icon, next week I will be uploading a video on Discord servers themselves. How to set one up, certain things that I've done on my server, some nice little tips and tricks and things that you can use to make your server a little bit more useful and pretty, let's say. Thanks again for checking me out. I will see you guys next Friday.